Welcome back, everyone, to yet another Pokemon battle here, and this is actually going to be the regular season conclusion of the PGBL4. We've already locked down the playoffs, being 6-1, but we have one more regular season matchup to go, and in fact, we could actually earn a first-round bye if we win this game and Visualize loses to Mr. Chabri. So, yeah, it's a kind of important game for playoff positioning if Mr. Chabri is able to pull off that upset, because Viz is also 6-1. Of course, he defeated me earlier in the season, but obviously if he has 2 losses and I managed to win this one, I could be the first seed in the conference. So we're always going to play hard. And my opponent is SweetBananaGaming, and she is a fellow YouTuber. And checking out some of her content, it's pretty darn good. So make sure you check her out if you haven't done so already. And I don't mean that. Anyway, that's not how I meant it. But anyway, so yeah, so she is the coach of the Orlando Solgaleo. She actually started a really, really strong 3-2, but since then she's actually lost 2 in a row. So she's hoping to rebound to 4-4. I don't know if she can actually make the postseason or not. If she ends up winning, but yeah, I still made no changes. Let's go into her roster. And as you can see, the roster images were not updated to some of her transactions, so I had to kind of go ahead and wing it again. But at least she has a roster image. So, notably, right off the bat, I mean, you have the Mega Tyranitar and the Landorus, which are both incredibly threatening physical hitting threats. In fact, most of her really scary Pokemon are on the physical spectrum, and I have to be careful of that Suicune. I'm going to go ahead and bring Calm Mind Keldeo again, because Calm Mind Keldeo matches up very good against Suicune. There's not a whole lot she can really do to it. And if I'm going to win a Calm Mind war, of course, because Secret Sword does physical damage, even though it's a special move, which will obviously give me the advantage there. Other side from that, Tangrowth and a few of her grass types could be a little problematic. The Cloyster is always going to be an incredibly scary Pokemon in draft leagues, as well as Volcanion. So, the Rabombi, so she has a Sticky Web user, so I have to be careful of that. So I'm obviously going to be bringing Defog this week. Hopefully I won't let her set up. So she does bring that Rabombi, and I decided to leave with my Manectric, mainly because I did want to leave with something that would hopefully scare away that Rabombi. I really don't want to let her get up Sticky Webs at any point. So yeah, that's my thought process. Gonna go ahead and lead with the Mega Manectric, like I said. Yeah, she's gonna go ahead and lead with the Rabombi, which is a good lead. Fortunately for me, I do have the Flamethrower. It won't kill in one hit, so if she wants the Stealth Rocks, or sorry, not the Stealth Rocks, the Sticky Webs right off the bat, she can definitely do so. Instead, she decides to go out and Hitmon top, which is fine. I'm just going to go ahead and Mega Evolve, and like I said, just go for the Flamethrower, because I kind of anticipated her maybe trying to set up the Sticky Webs, because it does help so much against some of my faster Pokemon. But instead she does just go into Hitmon top, and it looks it's especially a bulky variant, because it does about a quarter, and that's about it. And I'm just going to go ahead and Volt Switch now, which will do actually a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and Volt Switch into Skarmory, which ends up being fantastic because he ends up just going for the Toxic, or she ends up going for the Toxic, sorry. And yeah, I'm immune to that sort of thing. And yeah, she's going to go ahead and switch out into the Suicune, which is an interesting, obviously, Pokemon. And one that I'm kind of scared of. It's probably just going to Scald me. So I decided just to switch into Shaman because if it does get a Scald Burn, I do have the Natural Cure. And yeah, so there it is. And obviously this thing could have Ice Beam, but I don't think she's going to want to take a Seed Flare. So I try to get the over prediction here. I try to go into Manectric. And I do that because I think I was actually predicting her to switch, not wanting to get the Suicune, you know, damaged. I think I was actually predicting Rabombi because Rabombi has the resistance to grass, and I thought that she'd view it as a good chance to get up Sticky Webs again, but no. He ends up just going for the Protect, so that's kind of interesting. So she does Protect, and just go for the Ice Beam. That's not going to do that much to Manectric, and yeah, she's just going to keep protecting, which honestly I was kind of expecting her to try to switch more, so yeah, I just go for the Volt Switch. She does have a Ground type, which makes me a little bit resistant to Volt Switching, because she could go into Landorus at any time and just be really problematic. But she ends up going out into the Tangrowth instead, which does have the resistance to grass, electric, but not the immunity, which is good. I do have Hidden Power Ice to hit that Landorus, and the fact that she didn't do that makes me think that the Landorus might not be Scarfed, because I figured that she would just do that if she was Scarfed. Because it's basically a free switch in there unless she thinks I'm going to go for the Hidden Power Ice. Anyway, gonna go ahead and Toxic this Tangrowth. She just goes for the Leaf Storm, which is actually a lot of damage, and the reason I do that is because I really didn't prep much for Tangrowth. I really should have prepped more for it, and yeah, I just really wanted to get this thing Toxic Poisoned. So I just go ahead and do that. I go into Shaman now. She's just going to go ahead and knock me off, so there goes my Life Orb. I can't really rely on that anymore to get extra damage. But this guy's down to half health. She's going to want to switch it out for the Regenerator. And in comes the Volcanion as it takes 25%. I just go for the Hidden Power, and that's Hidden Power Ice, so it's going to... Was it Hidden Power Fire? One of the two. Either way, it does absolutely nothing, and I just go for the Earth Power now, end up getting the crit, and the fact that that was a crit, and it only did that, makes me think that this is a Assault Vest Volcanion. She just goes for the Steam Eruption, I guess trying to predict my switch. Thankfully, yeah, she got the prediction wrong, and that's going to do nothing to Shaman. I just go for the Earth Power, take down the Volcanion, and, yeah, we're looking pretty nice. In comes the Landorus, finally, and here I'm like, okay, I EV'd my, Shaman outspeed Landorus. I don't think it's going to be a Scarf Landorus, but it ends up being a Scarf Landorus. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised she didn't go out into it earlier when she had the opportunity to get in that Scarf Landorus, but, yeah, I was just trying to go for the Synthesis, see what she would do. As you can see, it is Scarfed. It gets the U-turn. Now, the good thing about the U-turn, though, is she's gonna be forced to show her Pokemon first, and it goes back into that Suicune, and I'm like, okay, I brought Keldeo. I know that it's a great matchup. The best you could have was, like, a Hidden Power that's super effective, and after some Calm Minds, I'm really gonna outpace this thing. So she ends up going with the Protect, which is fantastic for me, because I just get the free Calm Mind on that, and, yeah, that is just pretty solid. Now, obviously, she's probably going to have Defense Investment, but, yeah, I ended up just going for the Scald. I was actually trying to predict the Landorus, because I kind of thought maybe she'd go into Landorus, or the Ribombee, for that matter, predicting a Secret Sword, but instead she goes for the Columbine, so I'm not entirely sure if she, is simply not aware that Secret Sword is, hits on the physical side of things, but I'm kind of surprised she's trying to, Calm Mind War with me, because this is, something I feel really... strongly that I should be able to win. She's going to Scald here. I guess I don't even know why. I mean, I have the Resistance. It's not going to do that much. She ends up getting the Burn. That's not going to matter. Even if Secret Sword does have physical damage, it doesn't affect Secret Sword damage because it's still a special move. So, yeah, I get some minor burn damage at least, so that's something. And, yeah, she's just going to Protect, which is fine. I just go for a Secret Sword now. And, yeah, she's going to see that at the very least, and I'm just going to keep going for it at this point. I have +2, so I should do good damage, even if this thing does have, like, a lot of defense investment. So I just go for it again, and, yeah, it ends up nearly killing the Suicune. Well, it does more than half, so it's a solid 2-hit KO, even if she does try to Protect for some leftovers recovery. And, yeah, she's just going to go for a Pointless Scald. It's really not going to do that much. And if she didn't know about Secret Sword's effect, now she does. And she ends up not even going for Protect, and I end up taking this guy out. So she ends up giving it to me instead of trying to save it by going into the Ribombee, or, because the Ribombee X4 resists this. So yeah, I was really kind of worried, which is why I went for the Skull right off the bat, but she seemed to be playing it pretty close to the chest. In comes the Ribombee. I do have +2 special defense, so I know I can take a Moonblast from this thing as long as it's not like Specs. And even then, I think I should be able to... Well, no, I don't think I can be able to take Specs one. But either way, I do live it thanks to my +2 special defense, and I can take this thing out with Scald now, so that thing goes down. Don't have to worry about the sticky webs, and yeah, Keldeo is looking really, really nice. Unfortunately, after that damage, I know I can't take a hit from a Scarf Landorus, so in comes this thing. And, yeah, I'm just gonna obviously try... No, I actually switch out, because I know this thing's Scarfed. I go into my Scarm, predicting an Earthquake. I guess I'm just kind of playing for differential now, because this is pretty much an obvious play. I mean, obviously I was set up on Keldeo, but I kind of knew she was just going to go for the Earthquake, so it was basically a free switch in here to my Skarmory, and I can just go for the Brave Bird for free, knowing that she would be locked into Earthquake, and either be forced to switch or take the Brave Bird on the Landorus, and obviously doing nothing with Earthquake. So, yeah, I know that she has to basically sack a Pokemon to me, and I just go for the Brave Bird, taking out the incoming Hitmontop, and back into Landorus she goes. Gets the Intimidate on my Skarmory, and here I'm like, okay, what's the worst thing she could do? Earthquake doesn't do that much. She U-turns, you know what, let's just go for another Brave Bird. I know I have -1, but if she does U-turn, it's still going to be super effective with the Kangrowth. Ends up just staying in and going for a Hidden Power, so it might be Hidden Power Ice to win maybe the matchup against my Garchomp, I'm not sure. And either way, I could probably outpace that if I wanted to just by roosting, but I decided to just go into Manectric. And I do that pretty much because it's free. I can just now go for a Hidden Power Ice of my own. I know that Hidden Power Ice isn't going to do that much of my Manectric. End up going for a Flamethrower. I could have just went for Hidden Power Ice, actually. But I went for Flamethrower instead. I guess figuring that if she does switch, it would do a little more to the Tangrowth. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and not get the kill on Landorus, and then I go ahead and follow up with the kill. Her last Pokemon is the Tangrowth, so in it comes. I actually make a really slight mistake here. I should have Volt Switched. There's really no point for me not to Volt Switch, just for a little bit of extra damage on the Tangrowth. But no, I just hard switch into Mimikyu for some reason, and yeah, I do that because I'm hoping to end this match here, maybe get a 5-0 victory, help my differential a bit. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and pop off my Z move, which is the Ghost Team Z. It actually won't do that much because Tangrowth has, like, a ton of physical defense. It's one of the most physically bulky Pokemon in the game, that's legal anyway. So, yeah, just go for a Never-Ending Nightmare. We'll see how much it does. In fact, according to my calc, so this thing is, like, physically defensive. It's going to do less than half, and there you go. It does less than half. She just goes for a knockoff, so that's not going to do anything, obviously, because you can't knock off a Ghost Team Z. It does some damage, and now I'm hoping to maybe finish it off with the Play Rough, but no, Tangrowth is just that bulky. She does get a Leaf Storm off. I'm hoping to live, and I do, so Mimikyu, bulky mother effer, and Garchomp gets an inactive kill right there due to that thing going down to the Toxic Poison. So good game, Banana. Make sure you check out her channel. She's a really solid YouTuber with solid commentary. Yeah, so we completed our just one-loss campaign here, finishing 7-1. The playoffs will be at some point, so hopefully that'll be soon. So waiting to hear back from Root on those. So, yeah, so leave a comment about what you think about the raid battles in Pokemon Sword and Shield. If you're not familiar with the mechanics of it, basically you can team up with 3 other players, or 3 useless computer players, against a giant Pokemon. It's actually an interesting feature. I've been having more fun with them than I thought because the rewards for defeating them, even like the lower level ones, is pretty good. That's how you get the TRs in the game, or at least one way to get the TRs. Yeah, obviously most of those TRs are, all of them are one use, but some of them are really good. Plus you get a lot of other stuff. So I mean, they feel definitely rewarding enough. The one thing is, though, I wish I could disable Battle Scene for them because the animations are super slow. But yeah, so if you've been playing Sword and Shield, leave a comment how you feel about those raids, and yeah, see you guys again next time. Later.